Hey eBay sellers, it's Suzanne A. Wells, and thanks for coming back for another video. Today I have a rather long tutorial for you, but it's going to consolidate a lot of the information out there about how to increase your eBay sales. There are a lot of different things you can do, so not only am I going to explain all of them to you in a very organized and concise way, but if you look below the video, you will see a link to the document where I have written all this up for you, as well as provided some helpful solutions to whatever the problems are that you might be having. So when you download the document, you can just look for the yellow box underneath the topic, and it will have links to videos, playlists, all kinds of things that will help you with your business. So with that being said, let's get started. Now, first of all, understand that you have good items to sell, but there's just something going on with the way you're presenting them, or you're not using enough eBay features, or maybe you just don't understand the competitive environment on eBay. So that's what this video is going to help you overcome, is how to do a better job selling the great items that you already have. Okay, so let's start with search engine optimization. That's really important because everything on eBay is search driven. A buyer goes to eBay or Google, puts in what they're looking for, and hopefully if your item is a match for what they want, it will appear in the search results. So if you're not doing everything you can to appear high in search or to match what the buyer would be searching for, then you're missing out on sales. So first of all, keywords in your title. Are you using the same keywords a buyer would use? And this is going to take some research. You need to look at completed listings and see if your keywords match the keywords that are on the sold listings. Because if it's an item you're not familiar with, a niche you're not familiar with, especially fashion, if you're not using the right words, the buyers aren't going to find your listing. So it doesn't matter how great it is, how beautiful it is, if it's brand new, if they don't find it, they can't buy it. Okay, keywords in your title, do you have enough? I can't tell you how many listings I see that have like 4 keywords. Brown Eddie Bauer sweater. That's not going to get you anywhere. Are you putting enough keywords in the title to use that maximum amount of space with words that make sense? You don't just want to fill up the title with a bunch of words. That's not the objective. They have to be the right words that buyers are going to search for. So you've got to optimize that space. eBay does recommend using as many of those characters as possible that make sense. So don't just use the space for the sake of using the space. Do it wisely. Okay, do you have at least a 30-day return policy? This is very important because eBay rewards sellers with 30 days or longer return policy. They push you to the top. And if you don't have returns, then they push you to the bottom. So regardless of if you want to do returns or if you think that's going to hurt your business, you need a return policy on there to get pushed higher in search. So if you're not doing that, you're getting in your own way. Now, if you're concerned about returns, then you need to look a little bit more closely at the type of item you're selling. Is it something that has frequent returns, like formal wear or electronics or designer handbags that people just use and return? If that's the problem, then the product is the problem. It's not eBay, it's the nature of the product. So you need to look at that, or maybe you're not doing a great job on your listings describing the item if you're getting a lot of item not as described cases, because you need to do a better job with photos, description, item specifics, all of those things so the buyer understands what they're buying. So I can't tell you how many times I have consulted with people or done store critiques and they just refuse to do returns. And you're hurting yourself when you do that. You're getting in your own way. And guess what? If you don't do returns, there's millions of other sellers that do, that people are going to buy from. So you just have to get over yourself Put returns on there. If you get a whole bunch, evaluate why, change the why of the return. But pretty much anywhere you go on the internet these days, everything has a return policy, and that's what people are used to, and that's what you need to do. Okay, the next item is, are all of your item specifics filled in? Those are very important. Now, don't obsess over if you don't know something, or if it doesn't make sense to put that on the listing. But if you've got a lot of old listings, you need to go back and review if those item specifics are filled in, because eBay adds different ones. Every quarter, maybe review your listings and look at the item specifics, because eBay throws more of them in there. And if they weren't there when you originally did the listing, they're not going to be checked. And the search engine on eBay likes listings that have the most complete information. So if you've got blank item specifics, that looks to the search engine like this listing is not, it's not exceptional, it's not great, there's stuff missing, and you won't get to the top of search. So figure out a plan, a strategy. Maybe every Monday, look at 10 listings, maybe once a quarter, look at all your listings, whatever you want to do to figure out if all of those are filled in as completely as possible, because that does affect your search. Okay, do you have enough text in the description box? Again, I see listings all the time with this blank. There's nothing in there. And yes, they're on completed listings. Somehow they sold. But this is the place where you get to say what you want to say about the item and reiterate what was in the title as well as what's in the item specifics. You want to talk about the item. You want to say 100% cashmere sweater by Ann Taylor, crew neck, long sleeves, ribbed at the hemline, size extra large, measurements, color is red, good used condition. You know, you want to talk about it a little bit. You want to put something in there. Don't leave it blank, because the search engine does not like that area blank. You can go to my eBay store, Atlanta Golf Shop, which the link is below the video, and look at how I do my listings. You don't need to write a story, you don't need to write a book, but you need to have some text in there for the search engine to look at, because it does look at title, item specifics, and what's in the description box. Okay, next, are your listings optimized for mobile? When you do your listings, there is a little clickable text right above the description box on the top right, and it says optimized for mobile or something to that effect, or make mobile friendly. I've seen it so many times I forget what it says, but you can click on that and it will tell you if your listing is not. Now, once you've done this on your listings, you shouldn't have to go back and redo it every time if you're doing a sell similar. All of that should carry over. But what you do need to avoid are moving graphics, lots of moving text, lots of text that's different colors, different sizes, different fonts, simply because it's hard to read. When I get on these listings that have like 8 different fonts and 6 different colors and a little guy jumping around, you know, and all these funny little pictures and all that just junk, it doesn't look professional, and it takes longer to load, and it just looks like a carnival, and I don't want to even read it. It's too crazy. It's too busy. So your text should be black. It should not have a bunch of extra stuff in there. Some of the third-party services may or may not be optimized for mobile, so you need to go on there and see how long it takes to load, because when you're using these listing templates that put all your pictures in the description area and have all these backgrounds and all that stuff, it can take longer to load, and everybody's in a hurry. People don't want to wait for that. So are your listings optimized for mobile? That's a big question. Okay, do you have one-day handling if you can commit to it? That will get you higher in search if you've got one-day handling. Now, if you can't commit to it and it's going to cause a bunch of defects on your account for not shipping on time, then don't do it. It's not for everybody. If you've got another job, if you've got kids, if you've got other commitments and you just can't commit to one-day handling, then don't do it. it's not going to benefit you. But if you can, then you should do it. Do you have 2 shipping choices on every listing? Now, this means if it's a first class item, offer priority. If you're doing flat rate, some kind of flat rate option, just offer regular priority. If you're doing priority, offer parcel select. Put 2 options on there. eBay did say at, I think it was eBay Open or either the spring announcement this year, that this will help you in search, having 2 shipping options. So again, if you've got to go in and change all of that because your shipping is based on weight or flat rate, do 10 listings a day and just get through it. You don't have to sit there for 3 days solid changing everything. Just, this is how I do things. Whenever eBay changes something, I take my total number of listings across all my stores and divide it by 30 days. And that's how many I need to fix a day. And then in a month, it'll be done. So 2 shipping options. Okay, are you listing regularly? This is very important, and everybody on YouTube knows this, but you've got to list every day, if possible, at least 1 item. eBay search likes active stores. One activity you can control is how often you list. You can't control offers that come in. You can't control people that just outright buy your items. You can't control returns, but you can control how often and how much you list. So yeah, everybody's going to miss a day here and there, but try to make that a commitment to list at least 1 item a day. If you can't, stick some in the scheduled folder and then go in there manually and send them out every day, or even use the scheduling feature to send 1 out a day, which it only costs, I think it's 10 cents unless it went up. Correct me if I'm wrong. 10 cents a day to have that happen behind the scenes where you don't even have to think about it. So that's up to you. If you did 1 listing a day on the scheduled feature, letting it automatically go out, that's $3 a month. So no big deal. Now, if you're using good till canceled, do you have a lot of listings or any listings with really high views on them? And the concept here is that the search sees these types of listings as, you know, duds. Like, wow, this listing has been viewed 600 times and no one's bought it. It must really stink. Let's push it to the bottom of search. So you can go to your listings. Unfortunately, you cannot sort them by number of views anymore, but you can sort them by date listed and number of watchers, and that may help you pinpoint those that have a lot of views. Okay, what's a lot of views? I would say 300 in whatever amount of time. It's got more than 300 views, try ending it, then do a sell similar. Don't do relist, because all that old history is going to carry over with it, and that's not going to benefit you. Do a sell similar, change some things, maybe retake a picture, change some words in the title, change the price, make sure all your item specifics are clicked off correctly there, and refresh it. You don't need to do this on every single listing. Just look for the ones with the high views that might be like toxic to the search, because that's how search sees these listings that have been viewed a lot of times without a purchase. Now, the exception, listen carefully, the exception to that is if you are selling a multi-quantity listings. If you have 100 Coca-Cola Christmas ornaments that you're selling off of that listing and they consistently sell, they're going to have a lot of views because it's been out there and people are buying from it. Leave that alone. If it's a multi-quantity listing and has high views, that's different than one specific item that has a lot of views that's not selling. Okay, so when you download the list, you will see the yellow there, so you can go to those links and help overcome this obstacle of your SEO issues. Now, the next thing is beating the competition. This is really important because you have to be aggressive to get the sales on eBay. I see so many people that are just lamenting over, no one's buying my stuff. What's wrong? eBay stinks, blah, blah, blah. And it's so dramatic. And it's just like, you gotta, toughen up and get out there and kick butt and do some stuff to get some sales. And you may not get the profit you want, but that's life. That everybody does not get a trophy on eBay. I'm sorry. That's the way it is. I'm a Gen Xer. We didn't just get handed trophies for showing up. And eBay doesn't work that way. You got to get out there and you got to hustle it and you got to kick some butt to get some sales. So here's what you can do. Do you have best offer on everything all the time? Exception is auctions because you can't put it there. If you don't, then you need to. And I don't want to hear all this whining about, I get low offers and it hurts my feelings. Okay, I'm so over that. I think 2019, you're going to see a new Suzanne on here because, some of you guys just need a kick in the butt. And it's just like, too bad. If you don't like their offer, then counter or decline it and move on. The world does not revolve around your hurt feelings on eBay. That's not reality. And if you can't take it, then don't sell on eBay. This is just the way it is. So do you have best offer on everything all the time? Because you know what? You need to be open for business 24/7 to anybody who wants to buy something from you. People want to give you money. Do you want it? Then you need to have best offer on there on everything all the time. And do not use auto decline, because if they come in 1 penny under your auto decline, you will not see that offer. You will not have a chance to counter offer or accept it. The longer you've had something, the less you're willing to take to move it and get the sale and get it out of there. So don't use auto decline unless you've got thousands of items and you are just bombarded all day long, hours and hours of responding to offers, which most of you, that's not the case. So if you don't have best offer on everything, use the bulk editor and put it on everything. Do not use auto decline, and start looking at those offers that come in and countering them, and stop whining about your hurt feelings when an offer is too low. Because guess what? You're dealing with human beings and they want to get stuff as low at a price as possible. I'm like that. And they don't care about your feelings. And guess what? Other sellers might take their offers. So get over it. Get over yourself. You're getting in your own way if you are emotionally attached to these items. Allow the offers and see what they're going to offer you. It may work. And I'm sorry if that was harsh, but that's reality. Do you counter every single offer? No matter how low? If not, you should. Some people are just testing to see if they're dealing with a human being or an automated rejection. They may offer you $1 on a $100 item just to see how fast that rejection comes back, because they want to know if they're dealing with a real person or if you have auto decline set. So it's not even about you. It's about the automation of this eBay system. So always counter. You don't know what's going to happen. I mean, this is your opportunity. eBay allows you to do that, so use that feature. Always counter. Are you shipping international direct, not global shipping program? And I have an entire 30-minute video about this, so I'll put the link to that above. But this can be crippling your business, because global shipping, everything is priority, which makes it 3 times more expensive than if it could be first class international. You are missing out on a lot of sales if you're not offering that. You can do direct and global shipping on your listings. You can offer both, but I've never used global shipping. I've always done it direct, and about 1/4 of my sales across all my stores are international. And Canada counts as international. And if you're Canadian and you're listening to this, please comment, because I hear from you guys all the time. Please get them to offer first class international. Please tell them not to use global shipping. We can't buy stuff. It's too expensive, and it's only going a few hundred miles, or in some cases less than that, over the border to us. So you're missing out if you are not doing first class international. Watch my video on that. I explain exactly how to do it. There is no reason for you not to. Okay, next topic under beating the competition. Do you have complete information in the listing so the customer does not have to ask questions? I guarantee you are losing business because your listing is not complete. If someone asks a question about a particular item, go back and revise the listing to include it. Because if one person might ask it, others are going to ask it too. And we live in an instant gratification society. If what the customer wants is not there, they're going to move on to somebody else. Most people aren't going to take the time to message you or have to wait for your answer. So if you don't have complete information, if you are not anticipating what they're going to ask in the listing, you know, you're missing opportunities for sales. So make sure that your listings are complete. This goes back to what's in the description box. Do you have everything you need in there? Are you clicking off all of the item specifics? That's very important. Are you using customer-friendly language? This is very important when you're looking at your competitors. Again, all kinds of listings on eBay that just have horrible, atrocious customer language. We don't do this. We won't do that. Don't ask us to do this. We're not Walmart. You know, all this stuff that is a complete turnoff to any customer. Don't talk like that. These are people and you are trying to get their money. You need to be nice. If you have problems and don't know how to respond to customers, check out my premium content library. I have a whole bunch of letters in there and responses, how to talk to customers in a professional way to turn them around or to address a problem. Now, I know a lot of you, this is your first experience with a home business or any business at all that you have to run, and you may not know how to talk to people. And it's a learned skill, but you have to be careful about your tone and what you're saying, because you're probably losing customers if you have stuff in your listing that is, you know, sounds like a drill sergeant. So, okay, well, what if you can't ship but 2 days a week? You don't say, we don't ship on Thursdays and Fridays because we're too busy with whatever. You say, our shipping days are Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. If you need your items sooner, please contact us and we'd be glad to work something out. You're going to get, you know, you're going to get a lot better response with a professional tone in your language than, you know, just fussing at people, telling them what you don't do. That just is not going to work. Okay, and then the last one is, are you answering all questions as quickly and professionally as possible? That matters. Time is of the essence, because you know what? Whatever you've got, there's probably 100 more of them on eBay just like it that person can buy from. So you've got to be quick. When you get a question, you've got to get that question answered, however you're going to do it. One of the best things you can do is say, if it comes up on mobile and you've got it, say, thank you for your interest in our item. We are not with our inventory right now. We are not at our office. We are away from our office. I will get back to you as soon as possible. I will get back to you at 4 o'clock when I get home. I'll give my office a call and have them check on this for you, and we'll get right back to you. At least acknowledge them that they have asked a question. That is the worst thing you can do, is to just ignore somebody who's interested in your item. It's like having your house on the market and somebody shows up to see it and you don't let them in. I mean, they're there. That could be a sale. So at least if you're away from your inventory, if you work or you're out or whatever your situation is, put a little note on your phone somewhere that you can copy and paste, and have it say, thank you for your interest in our item. We're away from our inventory right now, but we'll get back to you as quickly as possible. And you can just copy and paste that in, send it to them so it applies to whatever they're asking about, and then get their answer as soon as you can. If there's somebody you can call at home to pull the item and get that question answered and text you the answer back so you can answer, whatever it is. But not answering questions is ignoring customers, ignoring potential sales, and leaving money on the table. So you don't want to do that. Okay, the next topic is photo issues. Now, the only thing between you and your buyer is a screen. And what is on that screen is going to sell your item or prevent it from being purchased. People always look at pictures before they read. That's just human nature. Why do you think magazines spend so much money on photography and so much of a magazine is photographs? It's not the text, it's the photographs. That's what people look at. That's what sells the magazine, is the pictures. So using that mentality, the same thing with your eBay items. They're going to look at it before they read about it. And so your pictures are so important. You've got to make sure they're good. Is the item in focus? Can it be seen? And is it cropped edge to edge, meaning all the way to the edge of the frame? That's really important because so many sales take place on mobile. I think it's 60% now take place on mobile devices, and some screens are not that big. So you want that picture to take up the whole frame, and you want it to be clear, and you want it to look great. Are you using adequate lighting? That's very important too, because if it's blurry, if it's too dark, if it's shadowy, and the person can't see what it is, they're not going to want to buy it. So you don't want them to have to strain to see it. You don't want them to have to go to any extra lengths to see the photo, because guess what? If your photos don't look great, they just go on to the next person and they skip over you. You could have everything right. You could have the best keywords, the price is great, wonderful customer service, fast shipping, all that stuff. And if your photos stink, they're not going to want to buy from you. So that's an easy fix. There's so much information on YouTube about taking better photos. You can totally find that very quickly. Now, lifestyle photos, meaning stuff with props, that's not allowed on eBay. Only the item for sale can be in the photo. And we're getting a lot of run over from Poshmark people, Instagram people that want to put all this extra stuff, you know, the plant and the necklace and the scarf and the, you know, doodad thingy and the little carpet and the shiny bowl and all the stuff they use. Don't do that. It's confusing to the buyer. You know, which of these things is for sale? This mannequin has a pretty dress on it, but it also has a necklace and a belt. What am I getting here? Don't do that. Only the item for sale should be in the picture. That is on eBay's very specific rules. And there's a link to eBay's photo guide in my download that I'm providing you. Are you using stock photos? That's a big no-no. I have a video on that. Don't do it unless you have permission from the manufacturer, which in most cases you do not. That is intellectual property theft. You are a thief if you are using photos that you did not take. The exception is items that have a UPC or an ISBN number, media items where you put that in and the picture of the DVD or CD pops up. That is the exception. But if you're taking pictures from AnnTaylor.com or just going to Google and getting them, or taking them off Amazon, or taking them from another eBay seller, or, you know, going to Walmart.com, Home Depot, whatever, no, you can't do that. You're going to get suspended. And trust me, it happens. You don't want it to happen to you. Now, one last thing about photos is does your phone or your camera need to be updated? You know, you may be doing the best you can, but the tool you're using is outdated, and that's important. So think about that. This would be a business expense if you had to buy a new camera or a new smartphone with better photography. Because this is a tool you have to use with every single listing you do multiple times. So it is important, and you may need to upgrade to get those better pictures. So let's talk about pricing. A lot of sellers, when their item does not sell, feel like their knee-jerk reaction is to drop the price. Well, don't do that. That may not be the problem at all. You know, if the BMW dealership down the street decided to have a 50% off sale next week, would you go buy one? Most people would not, because we're not in the market for that. You know, it doesn't matter how cheap it is. I don't want one. I don't need one. I don't want to buy one. I don't need another car, whatever it is. So that's the mentality you need to use when you are adjusting your pricing. Is something else going on here. It's not necessarily the price. And if you have best offer on everything and you keep getting offers around the same price point, then you can let your buyers tell you what they think it's worth. This is great for items that you don't really know how to price, or there's not a lot of comps for. Price it high. If you price it at $150 and you keep getting $75 offers, then you're letting the market tell you what they're going to pay, and you need to rethink that. But you don't just automatically drop the price. First of all, did you do adequate research when you priced it? Did you just look on eBay? Or if it's something unusual, vintage, antique, hard to find, rare, whatever, did you look on other venues? Did you look on Amazon? Did you look on Etsy or retail sites? Did you look further? Did you go to replacements.com? There's lots of places you can look for pricing information. And if you're just looking at eBay completed, you may not be getting enough information to price it correctly. And have you reevaluated pricing on items that have been sitting there a while, because the market could have changed? I understand from hearing people talk, the glassware market is way down. People just aren't buying it. No matter how much you have, people just don't want it. And your stuff may be priced too high. Or it could be the opposite. You could have something where the price has gone way up and you don't realize it, and yours is priced too low, and you're getting plenty of views, but people are like, oh, wow, this, this David Bowie poster, everyone else is asking 200, but this guy's only asking 25. What's the problem here? Does it smell like mothballs, or what's going on? So reevaluate with today's market on things that have been sitting there a while to make sure that your pricing is correct. Another issue is, are you new to eBay and you just don't have the confidence to know how to price? I have a bunch of resources for you on the sheet in the yellow box to help you learn how to price, how to become more confident pricing, because it is a lot of trial and error. But if you're new, you don't have that experience to fall back on. So you may need to do more research and studying on how to price things, rather than just feeling like I'm new and nobody wants my stuff, because that's not the case. Plenty of new people sell stuff all the time. How to improve clothing sales. This is a very competitive category, but I sell clothing across all my different stores every single day. So it's not impossible. Please don't listen to all this stuff about sell-through rates and you need to sell this % of your inventory a day to be successful. Just don't listen to that. Okay. Assuming your photos are great, and the issue may be measurements. And I'm sorry, I'm getting a big shadow on my face here. The sun can't decide what it's doing. So sorry about that. I can absolutely attest to the fact that measurements sell clothing. Okay, first of all, you don't know how many people are clicking away because you don't have measurements, that aren't even asking you, because again, instant gratification. People don't want to wait. They're in a hurry. They want that answer right now so they can buy that item today, so that it can be in the mail, so they can have it Saturday to go to the thing they're going to go to, or whatever. So you don't know how many sales you're missing by not having measurements, because it's just a huge unknown how many people are seeing that and clicking away because you don't have them, and they don't want to ask, and they don't want to wait for you to answer. So that is a problem. If you're including measurements, are you including the right ones? You may not have enough of them on there. There's all kind of guides and information you can Google about which measurements to include. In my premium library, I have a whole section on selling clothing. And there is a clothing measurement guide in there about what you need to include on which different items. So you can go check that out. Have you prepared clothing properly before photographing? If you're not taking the time to make it look pretty and neat and clean, as clean as you can get it, you know, some things, stains won't come out and you just disclaim that on your listing. But are you just pulling them out of the Goodwill bag and throwing them on the floor and taking a picture? Or are you taking the time to wash them, possibly iron or steam them, put it on a mannequin and take a nice picture? Because remember, clothing is something people are going to put on their body. And if they have any indication that it is dirty or not presented well, they're not going to buy it. Yeah, they're buying on eBay. They're buying used clothing. I get that. But this is all about presentation. And all you have between you and your buyer is a computer screen. So it's really important to make your item look nice. And I'm going to put a picture up right here of which one would you buy? If you were a buyer shopping for clothes, would you buy one that is well presented or one that is not? And that kind of falls under the competition issue. Is you've got to look better and do better than your competition to get the sale. Yeah, it's tough. Sorry. Not everybody on eBay gets a trophy. You got to work for that sale. You've got to do the work behind the scenes and you've got to hustle it and you've got to be better than everybody else. Okay, are you accepting returns for any reason? Back to the return issue, not only does it help you place higher in search, but pretty much everywhere on the internet that sells clothing accepts returns, because how are you going to know if it fits? You can't try it on until you get it in your hands, and it may not fit. And also, don't take it personally if it gets returned because it doesn't fit. Yes, you can put measurements on there, but sometimes things just don't fit right. And that's the way it is. But just about every clothing seller, retailer, you know, if you look at Amazon, you look at LL Bean, Land's End, all these sites that have been around, Eddie Bauer, that have been around for decades, that sell clothing that were once catalog companies, they accept returns. And that's the world we live in. So to be competitive and to be customer friendly, you need to accept returns. People just aren't going to buy clothing online without having that safety net so they can return something. Are you showing enough photos of the details on the clothing? The zippers, the pockets, the embellishments, the embroidery, the applique, the crochet, whatever, the fringe, the tassels, the buttons. Show pictures of the details. That's what sells clothing, is the fashion details. That's what people are into. So they need to see that. They need to see it up close, because that's what's going to set them apart when they show up at the ball game, the party, the dinner, the banquet, whatever it is. You know, they're going to be wearing a cool item that looks good and has fun details on it. So if you're selling items that have any of this stuff, you know, in the embroidery, the Fair Isle sweaters, the interesting buttons, put that on your listing. It'll also help prevent questions from being asked. Well, how many pockets does it have? You know, is that a zipper fly? You know, people want to know before they buy it. Also, are you showing photos of the garment labels, meaning the size tag that's usually in the neck of a top or a dress, or the waistband, where it says, you know, Ann Taylor, size 12 petite, as well as the content label that says 100% wool, or, you know, silk blend, rayon, whatever it is. Show both of those on your listing. This does a few things. It confirms that that item is that item. You know, it is an Ann Taylor size 12 petite sweater. And they can see the fabric content, which usually has the washing instructions. People want to dry clean only. Some people don't want to hand wash stuff. That's important. So by having it in a photo, it's there for them to see rather than to read later, which we know they don't read the listings anyway. So put the photos of the garment labels on your clothing listings. That will help sell it. Now, the last topic I want to cover is inventory issues. I have done probably thousands of store critiques in my eBay history. And one of the biggest problems is that people don't have enough inventory or don't have diverse enough inventory. I am a firm believer that eBay is not the place to specialize. If you are a picker, which most of you are, going to thrift stores, garage sales, estate sales, all that kind of stuff, you're going to come across a wide variety of items. So it's pretty easy not to specialize. Now, the ones who specialize already have a store or a business that sells that particular kind of item. So if they've got like, pool supplies or products for senior pets or stuff like that, where they've got a very specialized inventory and they're just putting it on eBay, that's different. But if you are a picker, and your store is just all kinds of stuff, and you are in this to make money, that's the bottom line. Are you in this to make money? Then don't specialize, because there's just too much out there you can sell. So if your sales are slow and you have less than 250 items, you need to just focus on that. Focus on getting to 250, because that is the threshold where you will see consistency in your sales. Now, there's no such thing as everyone always, this person always gets 3 sales every day. That doesn't happen. Everyone's gonna have days where they don't sell anything. That's just the way it is. Again, you don't get a trophy for selling on eBay. You gotta just go with the flow, and this is what it is. So, but with 250 listings, you will start seeing consistency with sales. You're gonna get more offers. You're gonna get buy it now sales. You're gonna see the momentum picking up. So here's what you do. If you have less than 50 items right now, your goal is to get 100 listed, okay? And then when you get to 100, your goal is 150. And then your goal is 200. And then your goal is 250. Just get everything out of your way, put on your blinders, and get your stuff listed to get to 250. Because again, I do a lot of store reviews, and if you only got 67 items, or if you've only got 104 items, it's just not enough to do anything. You've got to have more stuff. Think about it as every item you have listed is a doorway into your store or your current listings if you don't have a store, for people to buy stuff. The more doorways you have, the more sales you're going to make. What kind of business sells more stuff? A little boutique that only sells, handmade soaps and lotions, or like the general store that sells everything? Obviously the one that has more stuff is going to make more sales. So that is your goal. If you are less than 250, your goal is to get to 250. However long it takes, that's what you need to focus on. Now, as far as your inventory, are you offering a diverse inventory in a lot of different categories? So let's say you sell women's clothing. Okay, well, are you offering a lot of different things? Are you doing coats and jackets and vests and belts and accessories and shoes and all different sizes, and winter clothes and summer clothes and bathing suits and sleepwear and everything you can offer? Because that's a really big category. Are you also offering other things, that you're coming across in the thrift store? Candles and ashtrays and music boxes and kitchen stuff and pet products and stuffed animals, all this stuff that's out there. Add some of that. The other day I sold like 5 different things. They were all different. One was a plush, one was, some men's shoes, a woman's skirt, a kitchen thing, they're all different. So if your inventory isn't diverse enough, then you're going to get stagnant. You're not going to get enough sales. Now, you can still be in one category, like I just talked about women's clothing, but don't just sell sweaters. Don't just sell tops. You need to mix it up and sell a lot of different things in all different subcategories at different price points, different sizes, different colors, all that kind of stuff. Okay, and then the last one, is the one that you hate to hear. Do you have everything listed that you have bought to sell on eBay? Because if not, you cannot complain about slow sales. If you get on my Facebook group or send me an email and say, my sales are slow, but I have 400 unlisted items, you don't get any sympathy from me, buddy. You need to get busy and list that stuff because you already bought it. That's just money sitting there that's not working for you. And there's just no excuse for that. Yeah, everybody gets busy and stuff gets piled up, but I'm going to take your right to complain away from you if you have unlisted items, because you know what? The next thing you list could sell. The next 10 things you list could sell in the next week. So the only person you have to blame for slow sales is yourself if you don't have everything listed. And yes, that's harsh. And I came on here today to set you guys straight about some of this stuff. Don't come on here and complain about eBay. eBay sucks, eBay's slow, eBay's dead. If you're not doing your part, yeah, we all love the shopping. No problem, we love it. Get one of my virtual assistants to help you get your stuff listed, get you caught up. But if you're buying and not listing, nothing I can do to help you. Nothing eBay can do to help you. You have to do the work and get the items listed. So again, you may not be used to this harsh version of Suzanne, but sometimes things just need to be said. So look below the video and download the document that has all this stuff summarized, and then in yellow, your solution box where you can click on solutions for your challenge, problem, because I'm solution oriented. I know that you guys need some help, and I'm going to give you solutions, but you've got to do the work. You can't just talk the talk on social media. You got to walk the walk when you're at home by yourself and get your stuff listed and do these things and be aggressive and get the sale and do it the right way. So as always, I would love your comments. If you don't like my attitude, if you do like my attitude, thumbs up, thumb down, I don't care. Just want to know that you watched this and you heard what I have to say, and get out there and make it a profitable and most of all productive day on eBay. Bye.